A federal judge on Friday ordered the Trump administration to restore funding for Radio Free Europe/Radio Liberty, a federally funded newsroom that provides independent reporting in countries with limited press freedom, such as Russia, Iran, and Afghanistan. The judge, Royce C. Lamberth of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, berated the Trump administration in his ruling, calling its legal arguments nonsensical and its decision to withhold funds unprecedented. The news organization, also known as RFERL, is a private nonprofit that has independence over its editorial decisions and hiring practices, but receives nearly all of its funding from Congress. Since March, the administration has refused to enter into a new funding contract with RFERL after the previous agreement expired, effectively denying funding to the news group. Before denying the funds, President Trump signed a budget bill in March that provided funding to the news group until September 30th, the end of the current fiscal year. Judge Lamberth found that the Trump administration lacked legal authority to refuse funding that Congress approved without providing a clear basis for such a drastic measure. Congress has appropriated funds for RFERL every year since the enactment of the International Broadcasting Act of 1987, the judge wrote in his ruling. He added that the Trump administration has fallen short of its duty to articulate a satisfactory explanation, because it has offered no explanation at all. Benjamin Herman, the general counsel of the news group, said in a statement that he was gratified that Judge Lamberth has stopped the administration's illegal actions. He added, "It is Congress, not the executive branch, that has the power of the purse." The judge's ruling is a setback for Mr. Trump, who has targeted federally funded news organizations that he sees as prejudiced against him and conservative viewpoints. The president has moved to close Voice of America, which provides news across the world in 49 languages. The Trump administration, accusing Voice of America of spreading partisan propaganda, fired nearly all of its journalists and shut down its operations. On Friday, at Mr. Trump's urging, Congress passed a bill that clawed back $1.1 billion in funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the company that funds NPR and PBS, two national stations that Republicans have accused of liberal bias. In his ruling, Judge Lamberth cited the rescissions bill that Congress passed, noting that the administration already understood, quote, the proper procedure for canceling funds that Congress had already approved. He criticized the administration for not having followed similar steps for RFERL's case. In April, the U.S. Agency for Global Media, which oversees RFERL, refused to enter into a contract that it had already sent to the news organization for a final review and laid out a new agreement that Judge Lamberth found unreasonable. Those provisions would have allowed the Trump administration to shut down parts of RFERL's operation in 24 hours and determine the membership of the news group's board, an authority that Congress repealed in 2022. The judge was particularly troubled by the media agency's lack of responses to RFERL's attempts at negotiating a new agreement. He described the inaction as stonewalling and continued silence, and said the media agency went dark for days or even weeks, failing to meaningfully respond to the news group's emails. The administration's disengagement makes a mockery of the laws that govern federal agency actions, the judge wrote. Carrie Lake, the senior advisor at the U.S. Agency for Global Media, who is leading the effort to shutter federally funded newsrooms, did not immediately respond to a request for comment.